Welcome into the Picks and Parlays Power Hour. I'm your host, Hannah Mears. You can follow all of my content on Twitter using @HannMears right there. That's my tag. And also make sure you tune in with us every day, Monday through Friday. Power Hour is live at 3 p.m. Eastern time, and we bring in experts to give you some of our picks. And right now, I would like to bring Craig in. Craig Trapp's coming in, and he's going to be talking about something that everyone in the NCAA football world is going to be excited about this week. Everyone likes when Bama takes the stage for the first time and bringing in good old Texas, Craig. I think we have Bama. They're at the favorite -20 right now. Don't even look at the money line for that. I doubt anybody's going to want to be betting on that. And the total at 65.5. A lot of the money, I think, on the spread in this game. So what are you liking?
Yeah, I remember the advanced lines. You start to see those game of the year lines. So it's like all the big games throughout the season. They put those up early June usually. And I remember this line being in the 17 range, 16 to 18, depending on the book. And I thought at the time, I'm thinking, man, if Texas can keep this within 3 touchdowns, that would be impressive. Just because, I mean, let's be honest. He might have brought some of the Nick Saban magic, Sarkisian, because he was the assistant, of course, at Alabama, won him a championship. You maybe bring some of that over, but there is a huge gap when it comes to talent on this team. And, Alabama, they probably have 25 to 30 pros, if not more, on that team. Texas, far from it. I'm guessing if you had 5 or 6 pros right now on that team of Texas, Sarkisian's done a pretty good job. So I don't know about you, Hannah, but I'm excited to see, can they even keep this one close?
And as I'm sure a lot of people are, everything that I've been hearing about this game this week, everyone's been saying, listen, if Texas can even sniff Bama, everyone will be in absolute shock. And Alabama, rightfully so. They've got a lot to prove in this one, that they still are that top dog. I know Georgia's been sneaking in there lately. So Alabama's going to want to prove that you can't touch us. And when they've got guys on both sides of the ball that are Heisman caliber guys, you have a lot to uphold in this situation.
I mean, if Texas keeps us within 3 touchdowns, I mean, they should be feeling like they won a bowl game.
Right.
That they're back, because that's the difference of talent in this game. I mean, Alabama just has those dudes. It's like those dudes on the offensive defensive line that you're like, they walk off the bus and the other team's like, uh-oh. And that's the type of talent that Alabama has. And Nick Saban, in these early season big matchups, he just dominates people. They've been probably, granted they played, they had a week 1 matchup, but Utah State, not really a team that they had to probably game plan for, probably very vanilla stuff. Yeah. Everything was to, what are we going to put in for Texas? What are we going to be doing at Texas? And I think this is a show it game. I think Alabama not only wants to win the game, and, they want to cover for us bettors, let's be honest. And for all their supporters, they want to send a message to Texas and all those Texas recruits that Nick Saban wants to go after for the next 4 or 5 years. Like, you come here, you win, and you go to the NFL. And you get some NIL money, which Alabama isn't, not that Texas is hurting in that category, but I just think this isn't a whitewash. I would be shocked if this isn't 35 to 38 points. That's how much Alabama is better on the talent side of the ball, and talent wins these games. And we have Coach Saban as well.
And don't you think Alabama might want to be saying, Texas, this is SEC football. What do you even know?
Yeah. Do you really want to come to the SEC?
Do you really want to be here? We're going to tell you why you might not.
You can compete in the Big 12, but when you come to the SEC in a couple of years, this is what you're going to get once a year or every other year. You're going to face Alabama, and you're going to get hammered. And I think they do that. And it's a message game. And it's never too early to start, counting those votes that later in the year you go, hey, Alabama went on the road early in the year to a Texas team. And I think this Texas team probably going to win 8-9 games. So this would be an impressive win, especially if it's as much as I think. I'm thinking 35 points. Let's take Alabama minus the 20 here.
All right, I like that pick, Craig. Everyone's going to be tuned into that. And don't forget, head over to picksandparlays.net. Using the promo code NFL saves you 20% off the entire site, so you can see what else Craig has in store for you. Thank you so much for that. Bama and Texas, let's see it.
That's right.
All right, up next, Craig, we've got some NFL rapid fire for week 1. Everyone, don't forget that if you like what we've got going on here at Picks and Parlays Power Hour, we are live Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. So welcome in with us, Craig. NFL rapid fire week 1. I don't know what you've got in store for me, but I can't tell you. I'm like a kid on Christmas. I cannot wait for these NFL games to start. So tell me, what do we have?
Well, I think when you look at this week, you have to be a little careful out there because this is one of those weeks that, what you saw in the preseason isn't what you're going to see come week one. And I think there's some places that you can take advantage of the books. I have a couple best bet winners, none of these that we're going to be talking about today, but of course, I like a couple of these other games a lot as well.
All right, so Patriots at Dolphins. Dolphins at -3.5. What are you liking in this one?
I think when you look at this game, you start to say, has Bill Belichick lost it? He lost Tom Brady. Can he, create the magic? Mac Jones last year, I didn't think was terrible. In fact, I thought he was the best rookie quarterback in football last year. And considering where they took him in the draft, I think you have to be happy about that. But that's not Tom Brady-esque. That's not Bill Belichick getting into the Super Bowl every other year, it seemed like, for a decade. I think this one, they can't outscore teams anymore. So they have to win with the old school when Brady wasn't great early in his career, they won with their defense, special teams. You could move the ball between the 20s, but they didn't allow you to score. It was a lot of field goals, and they played field position football. I think that means the under is the play in this one. I'm not convinced this Dolphins team, just because you go out and get maybe the best receiver or maybe the best slot receiver in football in Tyreek Hill, it doesn't mean all of a sudden they're going to be this explosive offense that everybody thinks they're going to be. I think it could take a few weeks with Tua and him. I think you take the under 46.5 here. I think this is played in the low 20s. I was thinking like 2017 type game, 23-20. Either one of those gets us the under here.
Yeah, I think so too. And the other game we have that, gosh, I mean, these quarterbacks are just going to be exciting to watch this year. That last one had quarterbacks that need something to prove. This game here, Chiefs and Cardinals, you've got Kyler Murray ready to ramp up this Cardinals team, but you've got a Patrick Mahomes on the other side of the ball that makes it a bit difficult. Chiefs favored in this one at 6.5 and the total at 53.5. What are you thinking?
I don't know what to expect from this Chiefs team. Andy Reid and company, you just assume, even though they lose Tyreek Hill, that they're not going to have a step back. But I think that's a little, premature. I just think until they do it in the regular season for this entire year without Tyreek Hill, I think you have to think this team's going to have to win in different ways. I don't think it'll be near as explosive. I don't think the Cardinals without DeAndre Hopkins will be able to score. Remember late in the year when he was injured, this team struggled to score at times. I think it's going to be lower scoring than people think. Obviously 53.5, a huge total in the NFL. I like the under here. I just think it's a lower scoring than what people think. Both teams, I think, are going to be finding their way early in this game. Maybe the second half, you see some more points, but I definitely like the under for the game at 53.5.
Yeah, I can see that happening too. I mean, both of these guys, like you said, they've got to find some new targets maybe this year. They've got to figure out the flow of how these are going to work. So I think shaking off the rust, we've seen the Chiefs in past years do come off early in the season too, not doing so hot. Everyone's saying, whoa, what happened to the Chiefs? And then the second half of the year, you're like, well, there's the Chiefs. So, but in order for people to watch, don't forget that you can take advantage of our early bird special for the NFL season pass, as well as an all football pass by going to picksandparlays.net. Visit your favorite experts page. You can get an NFL season pass for $6.49 and an all football pass for $7.99. So you don't miss a single bit of this NFL action that we are so excited about. And Craig's even more excited to give another rapid fire pick here. So tell me, who's number 3 on our list in the NFL? Broncos at Seahawks, baby. Russell Wilson returns. Let's ride. Broncos at 6.5 on this one at Seahawks. I'm thinking the Broncos take away in a big way in this one, but you tell me what you think.
This is a tough matchup because, when you're a guy that week 1, you face your former team and you have to do it in Seattle. Very tough matchup here. I was shocked. I'm not shocked that the NFL made this happen because obviously it is a great storyline.
Right.
And, not the Seattle. I don't expect a lot out of Seattle this year. I just don't think they're a very good team. I was hoping that Jimmy G would get released or cut, and I thought he would be a perfect fit for that team. And I thought with him, they could be a 8-9 win team. I'm expecting now with Geno at quarterback, I think this is more like a 4-win team. I think the Broncos cover in this one, but I think it's a little it's too many, I think, early. So I'm taking the under 44.5. I think you play a much closer game than expected early, as that emotion maybe it kind of, maybe hurts Russell Wilson, and then Denver takes over late. either way, that Denver defense was one of the best in football last year. Now you have a quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over. It's going to probably be a little better field position type game. I like the under here, 44.5.
Yeah, I do think the Broncos could cover in this one as well. I like the under. Like we said, I mean, it sort of goes back to some of these college football games we saw earlier too, and in the rivalry games. They never go as high as you want them to because of the emotions that can take over. So always a factor in these types of games. And coming in at number 4, we've got Raiders and Chargers. So Chargers favored in this one at -3. I'm excited about this Chargers team, but I'm really excited to see what Carr can do with a Devontae Adams down there in the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, the West is loaded. We just talked about Denver. Obviously, Denver is a ton better. I think the Raiders got better, obviously. Josh McDaniels, new coach, I think he's going to bring some life to that offense. So it was already pretty good last year. Now you get one of the best receivers in football, if not the best receiver in football. I think the Raiders have a shot to keep this close early. I just think it's too much. This Chargers team is loaded, not just on offense. I mean, their pass rush is going to be elite this year. I think they might even score on defense. That's how good their defense is. At the worst, they're going to give this team good field position a lot. I like the over here. I also like the Chargers -3. So my slightly better play on the Chargers -3, but I wouldn't talk anybody off a little parlay action. Chargers -3 and the over in this one. That's how much. I just think this Chargers team is, they've been a little disappointing. They show those glimpses at times, but then they let you down. And last year they don't make the playoffs. And I think this is the year they turn the corner. They make the playoffs. They win this division and maybe do some damage even in the playoffs.
Yeah, Justin Herbert's been a fun one to watch play out there, but they do have to kind of make a statement this year. Everybody's trying to, pick the Chargers every year, and then it's like, I'll pull back a little. So I'm excited for that. This game will be fun. My gosh, there's going to be too much to watch. But we've got one more here in your rapid fire, your final game. We've got Bucks at Cowboys. Bucks favored in this one at 2.5. This Cowboys team, man, will they ever be really America's team again? I don't know. But most importantly, what are they going to do week 1 of the NFL against the Buccaneers?
The Cowboys have, you look at the individual pieces, it seems like for the last 2 decades, it seems like they always have the guy, to get it done at every position. And it's just like, injuries and a million things seem to go wrong for this team. And Jerry Jones kind of does his Jerry Jones thing. And all of a sudden they either are out of the playoffs or they lose first round of the playoffs. And I just think they're up against it, I think, this week. I really do. I think the Buccaneers are loaded. I mean, loaded this year. The Buccaneers, they didn't show much in the preseason, so that maybe has kept this line down. I wouldn't talk anybody off. I like both the over and the Buccaneers in this one. I just think the Bucs are just the Bucs. The one thing they are a little susceptible to at times is they seem to kind of wait back and like, oh, Tom Brady will win this. And it's like, then they'll make that stop when they need to late. But they give a lot of points up in the middle quarters. Like, halfway through the first to halfway through the fourth, it seems like they kind of just wait around and they give up a lot of points. So I think the over is the stronger play. You take the over 50.5, but I wouldn't talk anybody off Tampa Bay minus the points here. I just think this Dallas team is going to do the Jerry Jones and Dallas thing. They're going to find a way to lose this game.
And I think you can't talk anybody off the points there because you have that guy you mentioned at quarterback for the Bucs, Tom Brady. I mean, he's always pulling something out. Everyone's saying, well, he retired for a little bit. He did this. It's Tom Brady. Relax. I think he'll be okay.
He's like my age. He's my age. He's my age. You figure it out. Like, he's like, I'm 47. He's like 45, 46 years old, and he's still doing it. I mean, were you even born when Tom Brady was in college?
No, I don't think.
That tells you something. That tells you how long he's been doing it.
But you know what? I watched him torture the Steelers for quite a few years. Okay, Craig?
Let's remember Tom Brady, his career is so long. He had a Calvin Johnson, Hall of Fame receiver, had a Hall of Fame career in the middle of his, and now is in the Hall of Fame already, and he's still playing. That tells you how long he's been playing.
Exactly. Can't count them out. I like those. Love this rapid fire segment. Gives us so much to look forward to. Again, if you want all of Craig's picks, head over to picksandparlays.net. You can get 20% off the entire site using promo code NFL. We are so excited for the NFL season. And thank you, Craig, for joining us on our Power Hour. But it is time to bring in our next guest. So we'll see you soon. All right, everyone, don't forget that Picks and Parlays Power Hour is live Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. My name's Hannah Mears. I am your host, and I am bringing in my next guest, Lee. We are starting with some college football, Lee. Very excited about this, and if you're interested in any of Lee's picks, make sure you head over to picksandparlays.net. Use the promo code NFL. It saves you 20% off the entire site. Leah, we've got Kentucky and Florida action here. Everyone hyped up about this Kentucky team. They got their new quarterback. They've had a lot of buzz, but Florida started off hot and they had a test right off the bat. So I think that's why they're favored in this one at 5.5. Tell me, do you have Gator fever as well coming into these bets?
Yeah, I do like Florida in this game minus the 5.5. Last year they met in Kentucky. The Gators were favored by 7.5, so it's less than they were favored on the road a year ago. Kentucky did win that game 20-13. The difference was a blocked field goal return for a touchdown. Really, the Gators dominated that game. They were +8 in first downs. They had 160 more yards of total offense and a 13-minute time of possession edge. So I think that will be fresh on their minds heading into this matchup this week. And when you look at last week's results, as you mentioned, Florida's off that big win. Kentucky beat Miami of Ohio, an average MAC team from a year ago. They beat them 37-13. They had two big plays in that game, a 100-yard kick return, and then they recovered a fumble, returned it down to the 8-yard line, which led to a quick score. So that kind of put the game away early. Kentucky had 300 yards passing in that game, but that's going to be tough to duplicate against the Gator defense that was 9th best in the nation a year ago in pass defense. As you mentioned, Florida's off their big win over Utah. That was a top 10 ranked team. The Gators had great balance on offense. They had 284 yards rushing, 168 passing. Quarterback Richardson looked fantastic. He had 106 rushing yards with 3 touchdowns. So they looked really good. I do feel Kentucky's a little bit overrated. When you look at last year's schedule, they were 9-3 in the regular season. Only one of those 9 wins came against a team that finished the regular season with a winning record. So I think that was a little bit misleading. A couple of nice against the spread trends that favor Florida in this matchup. They're 12-8-1 against the spread. Their last 21 as a home favorite since 2018. And more importantly, they've won those games by an average of nearly 24 points per game. In that same time frame, Kentucky 6-7 against the spread as a road dog, with a negative differential of minus 9.2 points per game. Again, the differentials are the key. Earlier this year, Kentucky came out ranked higher than Florida in the SEC preseason polls. And again, after losing to them last year, I think they'll have their full attention. So even off that big win, I do like Florida here minus the 5.5.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, I know you've been mentioning a lot about the averageness maybe that Kentucky has. They were only scoring around 32 points per game last year. And then when you look at their first game, like you said, with 2 of those scores being off of potential errors, you may not be getting that from a Florida Gators team that has looked pretty solid right from the jump. So I like what you've got going here in the college football world, Lee. But now we have to move into some NFL, Lee, because the NFL is kicking off this week and everyone's excited about it. Don't forget to take advantage of our early bird special, all of you watching out there, for an NFL season pass, just $6.49, and all football pass, just $7.99. You can go to any of our experts' pages on picksandparlays.net to take advantage of this special if you want to watch any of these games, including the Giants and the Titans. Lee, tell me about this one. Titans favored 5.5. I mean, the Giants have got Barkley back, but then you look on the other side, you've got King Henry. I mean, come on now. Give me some of this football action with Giants and Titans. But what are you thinking?
I tell you what, this is one of those plug your nose type of games and bet the Giants. I know that's really hard to swallow for some people. I do like the line movement in this game as an indicator. Tennessee opened 6.5. It's been bet down to 5.5. That's kind of a strange line move considering the Giants were 4-13 last year. I don't feel the Giants were quite as bad last year as a record. They did face the second toughest schedule in the NFL. They've made a coaching change. They've got a new offensive coordinator. It sounds like the offense is going to be much better this year. They've got a rebuilt offensive line. As you mentioned, Barkley's back. Galladay as their wide receiver is going to be solid. Can Danny Jones take care of the football? That's key. They were last in the league in giveaways last year. And even despite being last in giveaways, their defense played pretty well. They were 18th in defensive efficiency. So that's pretty good considering a lot of time the other team was playing on a short field or potentially scored off a offensive miscue. Tennessee's not much better when it comes to turnovers. They were 27th in the NFL last year in giveaways. They've got Tannehill back, like you mentioned. They've got Henry back, so that's a really solid duo. But they are replacing their wide receivers. Brown is gone, Jones is gone. So that's going to take a toll for their offense. Again, looking at margin of victory, the Titans' average margin of victory a year ago was plus 3.4 points per game, plus 5.5 at home. Since 2018, the Titans 9-12-1 against the spread as a home favorite with an average margin of victory of plus 4.7 points per game. Again, that doesn't get a cover here. Since 2018, Giants 19-10 against the spread as a road dog. Lastly, Tennessee. I don't like to use this in the first week of the season. I really don't. But Tennessee may be looking ahead to a big Monday night game next week with Buffalo. Gives the Giants a chance to sneak in there and get a backdoor cover late. So I lean towards the Giants plus the 5.5.
Okay, I like that. I also think that Daniel Jones is in the hot seat for the Giants this year. He's really got to have this season to prove before they're going to eventually have to move on from him. I think Barkley has something to prove. So I think the Giants could cover in this one too. I think that's not a bad pick at all. And for those reasons. So I appreciate that, Lee. I'm excited for that one. That's going to be one of those games that may not be as exciting as the build-up it seems to watch, but it's definitely going to be an important one for both of those teams moving forward. So I appreciate your insight. And if you want more of Lee's picks, you can head over to picksandparlays.net. Use the promo code NFL. Saves you 20% off the entire site. Thanks, Lee, for joining our Power Hour. Always a pleasure to have you on.
You betcha. Thanks, Hannah.
We've got more coming your way for our Picks and Parlays Power Hour. I'm your host, Hannah Mears. We are live with our Power Hour Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Next, we are bringing in one of our twins, Nick. Starting off for our twin dynamic duo on the Power Hour. If you want Nick's picks, go to picksandparlays.net. Use the promo code NFL. Save you 20% off the entire site. Starting in some college football action, Nick.
Different game. Different game, honey.
What'd you say?
I said different game. We put the wrong game on the bottom.
There we go. It's all right. We'll switch it up.
It's okay. We're live. Things happen.
We're live. We're mixing it up. But, we'll get to the NFL. We're starting with college football, okay? Everybody slow your roll. Let's start with Saturday before we can move on. Wake Forest and Vanderbilt. Now, I can see this one trending into a blowout, like some people say. I mean, you have a team like Wake Forest that was really electrifying last year, and they shouldn't be, all things considered, but they've really been doing well. They're the favorite coming into this one at -13. The total on this one at 66. You're looking at a Wake Forest team that went 7-1 in conference play last year against a Vanderbilt team that went 0-8. So, yikes. Nick, tell me what you think.
Yeah, if you wanted Wake Forest in this game, your line is coming past. This line opened at a 7, and they announced that Sam Hartman's going to be returning for Wake Forest this week, and it's moved to a 13. Is he worth 6 points of line movement? I think this line's probably moved a little bit too much here. We see Wake Forest, in week 1, they covered the spread. They were 33.5 point favorites against the Cadets of VMI. Not that impressive of a win. It's an FCS school. They really needed to just do what they needed to do there. And then we have Vandy, which is undefeated so far this year, which sounds weird, but they've played Hawaii and Elon. But they've dropped 63 and 42 points on them. So even though they're playing weak competition, they have been scoring points the first couple of weeks here. I took the 13 for this one here, and I also do lean towards the over in this game. I think Wake Forest is going to be able to put up points, and Vandy's offense has actually been pretty decent the first 2 weeks. One thing that does concern, if you guys are concerned for Vandy, is they did allow Elon to score 31 points last week, which is not very good. But for me, this is just one of those spots where this line may have just moved too much. So I'm going to lean towards the Vanderbilt Commodores here, taking 13 points. I also do like the over a little bit in this game, but that's also a line that I think is also coming past. It opened up around a 60, 61. It's up to a 66 at this point. So for me, I think Vandy is I think that would be my look in this game.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, Hartman coming in though is a huge, huge transition for this Wake Forest team. I mean, he's exactly the life they need going into a game against Vanderbilt to maybe build some steam back up into this team heading into this year. I mean, I think he's legit. I think that's why those lines are moving. And Vanderbilt, 17 points or fewer scored by them 6 times last season. So it's good to see them putting some points on the board. Hopefully that keeps trending in that direction. Thank you for your college football insight. We will be paying attention. Now, Nick, moving into NFL. Remember, if you want to follow along and watch some NFL this season, take advantage of our early bird special. Go to picksandparlays.net, head over to any of the experts pages, and you can get an NFL season pass for just $6.49 and an all football pass for $7.99. So, Nick, Packers and Vikings, we've got a rival NFL game to start off week 1. I love it. Packers favored -1.5, total at 47. Man, Aaron Rodgers looking for his new wide receiver to go to. The Vikings, can they live up to the hype that maybe they've had in previous seasons and then never really lived up to? So tell me what you think.
Yeah, my initial thought was I'm going to go after the Vikings in this game, but the more and more I looked at it, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the other side for the side there. I'm looking more at the total here in this one. And when we look at these two teams, we have Minnesota, whose offense should be a very fun one to watch this year. Kirk Cousins, along with Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson. That's a strong offense here. And then they're going up against a Green Bay team, which we've seen Aaron Rodgers make do with fourth round picks and undrafted free agents and stuff like that. This is nothing new for Aaron Rodgers finding his new receivers, and they'll be fine here. And one thing that does concern me with this Minnesota team, where I think they may not be able to live up to the hype this year, is yes, they're going to score a lot of points, but that defense is a huge question mark, especially in the secondary, which when you're going up against a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, he'll make you pay. He can make any wide receiver look good in the on his offense. So I like the over in this game. I think that we see points in this one. I can easily see 24-24 in this game. And the more and more I'm looking at it, the more and more I want to back the Packers in this game because I'm seeing a lot of love here for the Minnesota Vikings, which I understand. Their offense is going to be dynamic. It's going to be very likable to watch their games because they're going to score a lot of points and they're going to give up a lot of points. But defensively, I think that Green Bay could make a couple stops to be able to win this game. So I'm going to lean towards the Packers actually in this game now, or I believe it's only like -1 now for the Packers. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to take the over 47 in this game. I think that both these teams put up points. Maybe a Green Bay team total over could be an interesting look as well. But I like over 47 here, Packers and Vikings.
All right, I like what you've got going on. I'm also going to throw this stat at you just to keep in mind, which also actually supports your theory of the Green Bay Packers and wanting to favor them as well. The Vikings allowed 32.4% of opponent drives in the final 4 minutes before the halftime or end of game. That being said, Aaron Rodgers has been called the king of the 2-minute drill at times. So even if this game is close and we've got bettors sitting there on the edge of their seats, sweating a little bit, palms are sweaty, and you've got Aaron Rodgers driving down the field with maybe in a 2-minute drill at the end of the game, you can maybe think the Packers are going to walk away with this one. So I like that. What do you think about that little stat being thrown out there?
Yeah, and that's one thing we saw with the Vikings last year, that if they turn it around, then they are a playoff team this year. If they can fix the last couple minutes before halftime and the last couple minutes of the game and stop losing one-score games, they can easily be a team that wins this division. So, and we've seen this with other teams too, where some teams are the opposite. Some teams take advantage of those things and they win all those close games. Look for those teams to regress that were winning those games last year, and look for the teams to regress positively, the ones that kind of do give them up the year before. So potentially look at that as well. But yeah, I can definitely see this as a game where Aaron Rodgers goes down and produces a game-winning drive here.
Yeah, he's going to want to be the man there, prove he can do it without Adams. So I'm excited to see what Rodgers can do. And thank you so much, Nick, for your expertise. Always a pleasure to talk to you, and especially for the first time together on the Power Hour. How about that? Love this connection we've got going on. Yeah. If you like what Nick had to say, go to picksandparlays.net and use the promo code NFL. Saves you 20% off the entire site. Thanks so much, Nick. Have a wonderful day and enjoy your football.
You as well.
Thank you so much. And again, you are on the Picks and Parlays Power Hour live Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm your host, Hannah Mears. And right now, I'm bringing in our other twin. We've got Tim here. And hello, Tim. Look at you in your Jets jersey. Is there any rivalry between the twins here and who they like?
I mean, we grew up in New York, so I'm a Jets fan, Nick's a Giants fan, but we both suck, so no rivalry yet for right now.
You're always just, hoping that one of you is less worse than the other, right? But
oh yeah, it's whoever has the most wins at the end of the year. Normally it's 4-3, so we're doing well.
All right. Well, we'd love to see that. Hopefully, Breece Hall can breathe some life back into your Jets there. We'll see. They've got some young prospects, but not what we want to talk about right now. But we do have some Thursday night football, it looks like, and we've got something that I'm so excited to talk about, and I can't wait to talk about more going forward. Something that's fun to make prop bets on is the NFL. It's a staple that people like to do. Even if you're not a big bettor, you like to make prop bets because it makes it more fun. But I'm curious to know what your 3 best prop bets are that people can get on Thursday night football.
Yeah, it was a little bit tricky because I like the under in this game. So trying to find players to get yards over and that stuff is kind of difficult, thinking, well, I think it's going to be more of a defensive game. So one of the ones I'm going to go after, I'm going to go on the Rams side, and we're going to go Stafford under his passing yards. He was dealing with a little bit of shoulder issues during the preseason. He didn't play at all, but we didn't expect him to play anyway. I think he's going to slowly work his way through, and I think they're going to have more of a run-heavy game plan when it comes to Thursday night and just trying to get through the first game. So I don't think Stafford's going to go that crazy. I think he'll have a good game, maybe a couple passing touchdowns, but I think he's going to stay under the 267.5. On the Bills side, which I kind of lean towards the Bills in this game, I like Singletary over the 42.5 rushing yards. I think you're going to get a little bit more of a rushing game from Buffalo as well. I think you're going to get a run-heavy kind of game plan from both these two teams. That's why I kind of like the under in this game. I think you're just going to get a lot of clock killed, but I think Singletary can get over 42.5 yards. And then I want to take a little bit of a plus money shot. Okay. And we're going to go for a special teams or a defensive touchdown, a pick six, a fumble, punt return, kick return, something in that nature. So I think we're going to get something in that nature, and it's plus $2. Okay. So I'm not gonna go crazy with it. Might be a light sprinkle on it, but I think you could possibly see a defensive touchdown in this game.
But I'm intrigued by that, and I actually like it because I do, sprinkle alert. I do put it in there. I do like there maybe being a defensive touchdown because I think pick six could happen. I think both of these teams, like we said, they may have a run-heavy game plan, but you've got quarterbacks that will throw all over you if they feel that they're getting hot and able to. But you've also got defenses that have lived up to the hype over the years and are more than capable of playing at this level and playing against those types of quarterbacks. So heck yeah, I can see that happening. I think that's fun. Stafford under 267.5. I was prepping my stuff for what I want to do for Mearsy Minutes and all that good stuff. This was the one thing I was stumped on. I was like, I so badly want to take Stafford over 267.5 because of what all of his statistics say. Literally in the last, you can go back like 20 games and you can say, okay, obviously I'm taking Stafford here. Look at what he's done against the Bills in the past. Like, he's got it. But that elbow, he says he's okay. He says he's great. He says he's fine. But will they just take it easy on him in the first game? But then again, they're coming for the Bills, and it's like he doesn't want Josh Allen to show him up week one, would you? So I don't know. Maybe if you want to look at a passing yards over, maybe look at Josh Allen. Who knows? So this is crazy, but I like Stafford maybe under 267.5 because I was leaning more towards that once I looked back. It was like, you know what? Maybe they're going to baby that elbow a little bit. They're not going to want to ruin their prize possession week one. So I like those prop bets. I think that's fun. We're going to have a lot of fun with those. So thank you for bringing those up. And don't forget, if you want to catch all the NFL action this season, take advantage of our early bird special right now. Go to picksandparlays.net. You can get an NFL season pass at $6.49 and all football pass for $7.99. Go to any of our experts pages. You can get all that information and take advantage of that special so you don't miss the NFL games this season. Now, moving into some college football, Tim. This is fun. College football rapid fire. I like that we're doing it in a rapid fire fashion as well, because I feel like when I'm watching college football, that's how I'm absorbing it. It's so much going on at once because there's so much going on across the board. So I need to know what you're thinking for some college football rapid fire. Let's go ahead and start with UNC at Georgia State. UNC the favorite in this one at -7.5. But what do you like?
Well, one thing that we've seen, and I know a lot of people are going to see from last week, UNC doesn't have a defense. I don't know what they were doing. 40 points allowed in that fourth quarter alone against App State. And then week 1 even, they played Florida A&M, which is a FCS school. Not a good school, and they allowed 24 points to them. I think Georgia State is better than FAMU. I don't know if they're as good as App State, but I do think Georgia State gets some points in this game. On the other side, we've seen UNC put up 119 points this year. I like the over. It's jumped from 61 to 64. I could see it hitting 67, 68 range just because UNC, they proved they don't have a defense and they can score. We were a little bit questionable with this UNC team coming into the year. No Howell, even though he really struggled last year. What was this team going to look like? They look good against App State offensively. So we'll have to see whether or not they could step it up defensively. I'm not going to count on it. I think they put up 40, 50 points by themselves again in this game against a Georgia State team that's not particularly good. They played South Carolina week 1 and lost 34-13 or something like that. I'm not really high on Georgia State. I think that North Carolina put some points on them. We're going to go over the 64.5 for this game.
All right, so maybe if you want to see some points scored in college football, that's the game you tune into. But maybe if you're tuning into Memphis at Navy, Memphis favored at 5.5, but at Navy, do we like this?
I do like Memphis. You got a Navy team that I'm not high on this year. Mm-hmm. They just lost to Delaware. That's not a good look. Not a good look for Navy. Mississippi State's coming off of a loss themselves, but they faced Mississippi State. They should have lost that game. Mississippi State, SEC school, big difference between SEC and American. I watch the American Conference all the time. I understand how different they are. Memphis is coming into this game. I think that they're the far better team, although I think Memphis is going to be a maybe 6-6 team this year. Navy is going to win maybe 2 games, and this is not the game for Navy. I like Memphis minus the 5.5. I think it's a good spot for them here coming off that Mississippi State game. They showed a little bit of progression throughout the game. They were able to score 20 points in that second half after only getting 3 in the first half. I think it's a good spot for Memphis to keep the offense trying to get that started up. And against Navy, it's a good spot for it.
All right, so you like Memphis at 5.5. Awesome. We've got a third game coming in here. Oh, Iowa and Iowa State, baby. The Battle of Iowa. What makes the fans go crazy? But the Hawkeyes are favored at 3.5. It's at Iowa. Man, I'd be tempted to take that, but I want to know what you think.
Coffee, Red Bull, energy drinks, anything that gets you started up, you're going to need it. This one's not going to be a fun game. What did we see? What was Iowa doing last week? They were going up against San Diego State. They scored, South Dakota State, and they scored 7 points. Oh, it was a field goal and 2 safeties. This team was supposed to be good this year, and I'm not really sure about it. Iowa State, I don't see them doing much. They put up 42 points last week against SEMO, which is another FCS school. They should have won that game. I like the under. This is going to be a very boring game. So if you like points, if you like high-scoring games, all that stuff, there's probably plenty of other games that are in the 4 o'clock hour that you can turn on. If you like good defense, this is probably going to be a 7-6, 10-6 type of game. This one's going to be boring. I'm going under.
Man, and you always want that game to be like as electric as possible because Iowa State, you know that's what they're looking forward to there. They've only got football. So come on, football and wrestling in Iowa. You want one of them to be good. Well, you might be better going to watch those wrestling matches this season than at this rate. All right, what's our next game that we've got coming in here? I believe we have Houston at Texas Tech. Texas Tech minus 3.5. That's been a team that's been pretty exciting to watch over the past few seasons. So what do you like about this game?
Well, one of the big conferences that I watch, because we're in East Carolina, we watch the American, is Houston. Houston's going to be a really good team this year. They had a very tough game against UTSA in UTSA, went 3 overtimes, 37-35 final. and they managed to pull that one out. That was one of the games I was a little bit nervous about with them. I honestly think Houston could probably run the table. Texas Tech on the other side, they got to face Murray State. They put up 63 against them. They should have.
Yeah.
But this is a spot. I really like Houston. You're getting them at plus money. I'm just going to take the money line straight up, plus 130.
Okay.
I'm not even going to worry about the points. I just think that Houston's just overall the best team here. And I think they win the American Conference. I think they have a legit shot at running the table, going 12-0 this year. They were so close. And you got that revenge factor because one of their 2 losses last year was week 1 to Texas Tech. So they want to go in there. They want to play hard. I think they pull out this one. We're going to have some plus money with this one, Houston money line.
All right, I like it. And I do like sometimes when a team has had the harder game, in the previous week, they've already been battle tested and they're ready to come in. Whereas Texas Tech, when you get thrown a lob in week 1, you've got a lot to kind of get through, especially early on. So they don't want to get down early on this Houston team, I don't think. So, all right. He's going to take the unpopular pick and go with Houston. Do you want to ride with Tim or not? Well, he's got one more game for you to think about, Bama at Texas. Now, I talked to Craig about this one earlier, but I think you've got some differing opinions on maybe what you want to take or how you see this game. Listen, if you tell me that Texas is going to be on the money line in this one, I'm gonna actually think you're crazy, and we're just going to go ahead and kick you out. But go ahead and tell me what you got.
Oh, no, my brother's going to be on that, but I'm not coming anywhere near that. No, he's next to me going, no, absolutely not. I'm expecting this one to be, 55-17, somewhere in that range. I think Alabama absolutely rolls over Texas. I don't think Texas has anywhere as near the level, the talent that Alabama has. And when it comes to this one, I like the over. I was able to get it around 63 area. It's up to 65 now. It just keeps on climbing. Alabama's going to put the points up. I guess the only part that I'd be worried about, because I don't know, can Texas put up enough? I think they can. I think Texas puts up maybe 17 to 20 points. And when it comes to that, I think that's going to be well enough to go over the total here. So we're going to take the over with Alabama and Texas. If you like points, this is going to be the game to watch.
Yeah, definitely. This one's way more exciting than the Iowa State game maybe we were talking about earlier, unfortunately. But I do agree with you. I think that Alabama's going to run up the score, and Nick Saban's not afraid to. He's always got statements to make and things to prove. And like I told Craig earlier, they're telling Texas maybe stay out of the SEC and stay out of our way. So they've got a lot to say in this one. Tim, it was great. I love having you on here. This is so much fun in the Power Hour. My goodness, I got to have both twins today. What a pleasure. And if you like what they've had to say, go to picksandparlays.net, use the promo code NFL, and saves you 20% off the entire site. Can't beat it. Thank you so much, Tim, and good luck with all of your picks, and good luck to all of you out there watching as well.
Thank you.